So just before I rip the box out and show you here's how I'm going to bang this barrel housing on and fix it, I pulled the engine out and left the gearbox behind. Now I've made this little tool here, just a bit of pipe with a sleeve in it, and that bolts in there and can leave a gearbox, tail shaft, cross member, all sit in the car when you yank the engine. Screws just in the two little holes that are already there, which are little techies, and yeah, that's a good way to leave your box behind. Pretty cheap and easy tool to make, and yeah, saves a lot of drama. Alright, so yeah, nice new barrel housing for the rod shop boys. While I was there, I got a cross member. They're not worth much. We're going to try and push this thing. So last thing I want is the alloy one breaking out, especially after finding that crack. I'll add a photo of that crack there. Whilst getting some stuff, I was on Marketplace, as I do, and this converter come up. It's out of a 6 litre with a 125 rear housing. We're running a smaller housing, stall speed of about 3 grand, so this should go really well with this combo. For $600, couldn't let that go. So yeah, we'll get to cutting this off with my shoulder. I'll see if that'll, look at that. That could have been bad. So I'm glad we found that. We'll get this thing together and turn him up a notch. Alright, so that's that bit off. Now we'll neaten it up, trim it up, and get this mounted up. Alright, trans coolers. So I'm going to call it not budget, but bang for buck trans coolers. So I've got one on Loose Kid's got one. Both the SLEs have got them. My HZ's got one. Pretty much everything we've got runs one. So still staying budget on this thing, but just upgrading a few little bits within mind of the new challenge. So let's have a look at this. So it's a Speedmaster. Get a length of, that's actually fuel hose, but anyway, I don't use that. I normally run dash hose for them. Get a bag of bolts and fittings, and you get this nice little, comes out, twin row, dash 6 fitted, fanned trans cooler. Now it pays to tighten over all the bolts and that. We run 2 of them on the race truck, but yeah, they are, I've never had one fail, and we run a lot of them. So 300 odd bucks I think they are, and yeah, they're the GO. So get onto them if you're building one. It'll save your trans a mile. All right, so mystery diff has bitten us in the arse. Now I've worked out where it's come from. So I had a VZ 6 litre Thunder Ute, and this diff was in it. It was really noisy, and the LSD was shagged. So what's obviously happened, because there's no oil in it, the clutch packs have stuck and locked up, and then when we've put oil in it, it's then let go and turned to single spinner. So we're gonna give him some weld. So I'll just show you quickly how we're gonna do that. So yeah, pop your axles back out, pull out your stub axles. They just pop out with a pry bar. Obviously back plate off, back plate bolted to the top there, drop it down like so. Now mark these, if you can see there, count the number of turns, and undo them. Now it's pretty basic, I'll show you. I made this tool up, so pretty basic tool, and all you do is put it in the holes and give it a crank. It's a bit hard in the car, it's a lot easier out of the car, but crank it undone, and yeah, that's how you drop your centre out, put them back in the same spots, and it should be right. So we'll get him out, weld him up, and there'll be no single spin in there. Alright, we've got him out of the diff housing now. So these have an L for left hand thread, so that just means doing them up. Rightio, so we've knocked our crown wheel off. What we're going to do, I've cut down an old bearing roller. It's hardened steel. Jam it between the spider gears. Snug fit. Like so. And then we're going to send it. Rollers turned up, and yeah, we'll roll the gears together to the piece I've jammed in there, and that should hold it. I reckon that's going anywhere. Rightio, so we've got our bell housing on. Bit of cutting and mucking around, but yeah, coming up alright. We did have a little bit of new converters in there, obviously. We did have a little bit of drama when I pulled the pump out to clean the last little bit up. I pulled the internals out. So, a couple of YouTube videos, and yeah, we're going to tip it up on the task and line the clutches up and drop it all back together. So, it was a learning experience. It was something we needed. And over here we've got our new engine together. Now I've added to it, it's virtually exactly the same. There's a bit of a story about the engine itself. We'll go into that. And I've added in some head studs just for and new gaskets just for boost. And we'll actually send it now to get a pop tune done because the game's changed a little bit. We've seen the Americans doing a 10-12 grand challenge. So we're going to try and get down to a, say 10, something like that, and keep this under 10, which will include the car, tyres, and every dollar spent. So we'll retally it all up and yeah, see how fast we can get this thing going. So we've added virtually head studs, head gaskets, and we've added that converter in. Apart from the tune, I don't think there's much of a change on it, so we should go through the coming under 10 mark. So after running the Western Highway Shootout on the weekend, which was a killer event, we talked to some of the pros down there, like Kai McPhee, about suspension setup, and realised that is a big thing to get these cars off the line and down the strip, which is all new to me. So Dwayne and Ryan decided that they'd run footballs and that helped out, so we were going to do that, but then I had this brainwave. We've got the suspension that was in the track car after we changed it over. This is it here in the box, so we're going to give it a shot because we like to be different. Now, it definitely ain't Petters. That's what went in the track car. But we've got some max speeding rods, coilovers, which were pretty stiff, and yeah, some shockers to suit. They're an early one, they're not adjustable, but they're pretty firm, so we'll whack that in, give it a try. Rightio, so we're about to head over to Heathcote, give this thing a run. Now, I'll explain about the engine, you know, just in case something happens at Heathcote that might explain why. So the old engine had lost oil pressure because of a block pickup, got to 3 and 4 bearing hot, so we'd yanked that out, and I went to Bendigo to buy one off Marketplace. Waiting around for the guy. It was supposed to be good, the photos were good. Got there and the shed roof had leaked in the bores and there was more rust than the Titanic. So we canned that one. I did pick up a converter down that way while we were there, so it wasn't a wasted trip. I looked on Marketplace again. There was some in Melbourne for 1,200 with heads, which weren't a bad buy, but I don't know the guy that was selling them. So we went to our trusty importer. He was 1,200 bucks. I didn't want to pay that money, but he came back and said, "Look, I can do one for 1,000." You know, I said, as long as it's good. We got it home, and yeah, it had new bearings all through it. Like, it was a really nice engine, but it predated, and for what looked like predat marks, or someone had thrown, maybe the ex-wife threw some shrapnel down the down the intake, it had marks on the tops of the pistons which had started to mark the bores. So we need to get this thing done. Out come 4 pistons, we give it a dunny brush and 4 pistons out of the old motor. Not advisable to do, but that's what we've done. We're going to send it and see what happens. Cheers.
Too, don't you worry, but we'll wait and see if we can break something else in a minute. Good. Yeah, good. Another pro. I understand that's
that was good. That went really well until it didn't. Alright guys, so we've been to Heathcote. First hit up was a 12.1, which was what we were aiming at. Second hit back to back, same time, 12.1. So it was spot on. We thought, well, we're there, we might as well, you know, turn it up a little bit and see what we can actually get out of it, rather than, you know, just being happy with what we were achieving. So me and Big John decided to pull the wastegate springs out. We watched the boost. We were running about what was it, 6-7 pound mark. We pulled the springs out and found a bigger spring, so we banged that in. Burnout instantly was, yeah, heaps more aggressive. It felt really good. Come back, we'd ran a 11.7, so we were stoked with that. one last run for the day, we thought, well, let's, you know, throw some more springs at it. So we put 2 of the springs in the gate and we got it up to 11 pounds. Burnout was real aggressive. It felt like it was wild. It was on. It was just a matter of getting off the line. Yeah, foot brake, we were getting about 4 pound on the foot brake before it was creeping. Got it off the line and yeah, went at 10.9. So more than stoked with that. Over the line, we may have leaned it and lost a radiator cap over the line, but still going. Everything seems all right. So we'll just have to have a bit more of a look at that. So yeah, now we've got a bit of an itch, I suppose. We can't do much with the VX because a dry shaft's in the rear. They break if you're more aggressive, so we need a trans brake to get off the line, but yeah, those dry shafts will smash. Then you've got a rear converter, which is going to cost a fair bit of coin, and then down to the weight, like it's hard to get weight out of a VX. So we had originally, years and years ago, we had a BT1 shell, and we've got all plexiglass and fiberglass panels and shit for it. So we hunted around and found this darling here. We reckon this potentially could go a 9. A bit of a diamond in the rough, but anyway, we also need a name for it. It's a vacationer, so if anyone's got a good name for it, and yeah, let's see if we can get this thing doing a 9. You know, show them Jasper the original project, or what was left of the BT1. Attached with our famous 44 gallon drum tubs. So cheers guys, keep looking.